Hey everyone, Digital Sticks here, and I just want to point out that cheap VR is quite expensive. People are really going from one device to the next device so fast. This has all been launched by the Oculus Quest and the Rift S. As soon as Oculus decided to detour away from producing a quality device, there has not been a quality device in a budget price point ever since. As soon as VR reached a point where things could be hyped and stirred up and people could get excited over a cheap price, there has not been a quality budget headset since. There hasn't been a complete package for less than $1,000 since the Quest entered the picture and the CV1 was traded out for a Rift S. Just in case the Quest didn't catch on enough. Compared to the CV1, the Rift S was a side grade, but right now, for a limited time, if you need a new device for a budget, you want the most complete device you can get, that actually still is the Rift S. Later on, there will be a good option to add audio to it, and then it'll be a complete kit. As long as your IPD is in a normal range, your only compromise on a Rift S of note is the 80 hertz refresh rate instead of 90. That's really not that big of a deal. People did just fine with the 80 hertz of the Rift S. So if you need a budget device and you want to have it comfortable and have a quality VR experience in one package, the Rift S is your last shot at getting it brand new and having something that you can make work that way. The only compromise of the Rift S of note is the lack of quality audio on board. VR Power is going to be releasing some VR ears you could add to that, so you can actually fix that problem later, and you can get the headband with that VR Power ears. You can then convert them to an off-ear speaker gaming headset. I mean, this solution on the Index is outstanding. Of course, the Reverb G2 comes with it now too. You can have that in a gaming headset and get that extra functionality out of it. That makes it a really good deal with the Rift S. But that audio solution is something that adds value to the Index kit out of the box. If you think about getting that audio solution through VR ears and you think about adding full body tracking, so you need the base stations, you're literally $100 away from an Index kit by the time you make a Rift S a complete experience. But that's including base stations that have full body tracking. If you want full body tracking, your kit that you want, if you can at all fit it in your budget, is undoubtedly the Index kit. I think Oculus just wants a smartphone on your forehead, so that's why they're killing the Rift S. They never produced a Rift 2, welcome to the Quest 2, with a more powerful processor but nothing to really show for it in the way it functions standalone. The processing power has gone to Facebook because they gave you every little ounce that the original Quest could put out to try to keep that device relevant. The Index is a complete kit. The reason I say cheap VR is expensive is because if you look, when the Index launched, so did the Quest, so did the Rift S. Index owners are still loving their Index. Some of them have to have the very best of everything at any cost, and they are wanting the Reverb G2 hybrid setup to have higher visuals, but otherwise the experience cannot be beat. As a complete kit, it is the one. It's the one they use between their reviews. So even though they have more hype for every other product and they have more content for every other product, they actually use the Index kits for their personal gaming. The problem is the Index kit is so complete, there's nothing else to hype about it. It was straightforward, like these are the features, this is the kit we made. It literally delivered everything anybody thought it was going to by its specs. Period. Everything else requires overlooking something. It requires being talked out of something because everything else has a compromise. And it makes it expensive. People, they like the idea of saving the money, but then they start using the device and then this new device comes out and they have to have it because they weren't happy with their experience. They were still discontent. And then they hope this is going to make it better. And then that makes it a little bit better, but it's not all the way. And literally people that went from the Quest to the Quest 2 are eyeballing the Reverb G2 trying to decide if that's their next upgrade. And think about the cost of that. If you got the cheapest Quest, it was $400. You got the cheapest Quest 2, that was another $300. And you get the Reverb, that's another $600. That is $1,300 in VR headset since the Index launched. And not a single one of those stack up against the Index as a full kit. cheap VR is very expensive. If you can be content with compromised VR, then you can save money by having compromised VR. But if you're not content with a broken experience, you're going to be spending more money, then more money, then more money. If you don't jump off of the hype train and get onto something quality, you're going to spend a lot more money. That's why it plays out this way. That's what's going on. People that are discontent wanting something else, that are still looking to see what's coming out, they watch more YouTube content. They subscribe to more channels, and they buy more products, and they help with more hype, and then they're on the next one. You will stay tuned if you're not content. It works for everybody to have people still wanting something better than they've got. The only people that benefit from you liking what you have is Valve. If you like what you have, then you're spending your money on games. And guess what Valve is? A game store. The hardware side of things is not their focus. They simply created a headset to keep quality VR alive and compelling. I don't think they care to be hardware manufacturer. Hopefully they produce an Index 2, but they may not see a need. People are buying cheap hardware, and they support everything. People played Half-Life Alyx on an original Quest the same they played it on an Index. They are doing just fine with this game as it stands too. You also may want to consider getting a complete kit while there's a complete kit to buy, because who knows if anyone's going to produce a complete kit next. I mean, when you can string people out and keep them desperate for upgrades, and that is working more than anything, it benefits the industry if people have used headsets that they're selling dirt cheap or that they're handing down. It doesn't really benefit them if those used headsets are sitting in boxes. They're not making their money from hardware sales. They're making their money from game sales, or in Facebook's case, from the smartphone on your head collecting your data. So cheap VR is very expensive. We'll have to see if anyone produces another complete headset, or if this is the permanent winning strategy to always leave something to be desired with VR headset. You're voting for these things with your money. And so more people have voted for the Quest and the Quest 2 and the Reverb G2 than the Index kit. Now the Index is having trouble staying in stock, so Valve has more than they can handle with what they're selling. They're fine. Nobody else is offering you a complete kit. Oculus could have easily produced a Rift 2 as comfortable and as well liked as the original Rift, only with inside-out tracking and better resolution. But people are trying to say the Quest 2 is a good value. A complete Rift 2 for $400 or $500 would be even better for PC VR. Cheap VR is very expensive. That's basically my MO with my channel. Basically the end result of my less than perfectly positive review of VR technology. There is good technology already out here. You don't have to be in line for gimmick if you buy the good technology. You only need one starter device. If you can't go big when you get a VR, that's understandable. But when you decide on an entry-level device, from that point, if you become enthusiastic enough to want an upgrade, you need to hold out and get a true upgrade. If you can barely budget to upgrade, then if you hold out and make that upgrade count, it will be better for your budget that struggle. If you sit there and go from device to device to device, that's a constant gimmick tax for enjoying this hobby. But you could have just simply bought in and not be paying that gimmick tax. The end of the Index as a quality kit and quality experience and satisfying experience is not in sight yet. Resolution progress made the first generation headsets feel obsolete compared to other headsets, but they're not obsolete even still. They went from text you couldn't read to text you could read. It was a pretty significant transition. Today's resolution upgrades from the Quest and up are not revolution. They are upgrades for sure, but they're not game changers to the same extent. Whatever device you have right now is completely capable of carrying you over till you can upgrade to a complete kit. Right now, that's the Index. Maybe something else comes to market, maybe something else doesn't. The most promising thing even being discussed is the Decagear headset, but that's being discussed by a company that's never produced a headset that didn't even exist before they popped up claiming to have this amazing VR package ready for pre-order. That's still a wait and see how it plays out kind of situation. But if they succeeded and if it truly had quality tracking and whatnot, then obviously that for the 550 I think it's going to be would be just a stellar value. That would be a true game changer. That would be a full-fledged upgrade. But that is a lot to hope for from an upstart when an established VR company completely blew it on Gen 2 devices on their own. So with a grain of salt, there's no definite future for that, but let's hope they pull it off. But in the meantime, if you'll stay content with what you have, you can save a lot of money by getting the Index kit if that's still the best kit at the time, or getting whatever is actually truly solidly complete at the time you can afford an upgrade. But don't settle for these incremental things that keep you in the same compromised experiences that people are being talked into rather than that is self-evident and amazing value. So I'm Digital Sticks. I'm out, and thank you.